Hello and welcome to PS Such a Connection. I'm P.
And I'm Miss, and we are here to talk about season 3 of Bachelor in Paradise, episodes
Yeah.
of week 3. So it starts off with Evan being super awkward, and doing that whole want to warn Amanda thing about Josh. I roll, but I have something to say about it. Because at first, what Evan did was he went up to Amanda mid-makeout sesh with Josh, which is super awkward, but he took her away and was earnestly just I'm giving it a shot in the dark because I have no more prospects and I would regret it if I didn't say something. And he was honestly just hey, I just wanted to know, I wanted to talk to you, see if there could be anything between us, even though Nick and Josh are vying for your attention right now. And I was totally fine. It shouldn't have happened because Evan is awkward and Amanda was so super sweet and so nice, and she was sad because she didn't want to hurt Evan and all that. He was so nice to her. But then he goes in for this one last jab at Josh to see if he can slip in there, and
I liked that noise.
Thank you. And that's where I lost respect, because whereas we all as an audience know that Josh is the worst, Amanda doesn't. But Evan is not the person who should have stepped in.
No, not at all. You stop rooting for him because you're no, that's not how you do things. And yeah, he basically just attacked Josh, and she'd never heard of this before.
Yeah.
Which is where my problem comes into it, because she was talking with the girls, and they said, we warned you about this. She talked with Nick, and he was like, just look out for this, because I know some of the things written about me were true, as well as some falsities, but some were true, so just watch out. And also, this guy out of the blue, who I think Evan's opinion is the least worrying. But when your friends are telling you that you should be wary of a guy, I think you should be wary of him. And that seemed to just, it wasn't even discussed again after the rose ceremony.
It was just accepted. It was, hey, Amanda, just so you know, watch out for Josh. Oh, you ignored our advice. Fine, I guess.
Yeah,
it's just a thing now.
Do whatever you want to do.
So we just then continued to see them
together,
just making out.
Moaning. The noises Josh makes and the decision to play those noises over other things that are happening is so gross to me. It's so gross.
It's really gross.
It hurts me.
I'm sorry.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I cannot do anything.
It makes me uncomfortable in my stomach. I feel like I'm gonna vomit every once in a while. It's just...
My issue is that, okay, Josh's talk with Evan. Because Josh finds out that Evan said something to Amanda, which the girls and Nick had done as well.
Yeah.
And Amanda says to him, please don't confront him. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. I picked you. I'm not sure at that point she had picked him yet, but she picked him. So why then go and confront Evan? And everything, and I don't like Evan very much, but everything that Evan was saying about him was true. He was just spewing out random stuff to make that he thought sounded good. And it's all just BS. And it's just, he has such a, it's so clearly to me a personality that would be verbally aggressive in the future when things are not going his way.
I liked the conversation between Nick and Amanda
Mm-hmm.
about Josh, which
Yeah.
I brought up earlier, where he said that some of those things that were written about me were true. So some of the things that were written about Josh may also be true.
Yeah. That was a really good way to approach the situation.
Yeah, and I also liked how he wasn't bitter
Yeah.
about what
Mhm.
had happened between them, and he was really, like, it just seemed like he really was just looking out for her.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciated that.
At the beginning of Bachelor in Paradise, I had a very, very huge hate
You did?
towards Nick. A huge hate. I hated just the way his face was
I don't
and everything about him.
that.
But here's the thing. I have gained newfound respect for Nick. And, you know, maybe, I don't know. It's a newfound respect, and also he's much more attractive now.
Yeah.
So there's those
That's
two
absolutely
things really helping Nick, in my opinion, right now, and also contrasted against Josh because
Yes.
he's the worst.
Not good. And the moaning. The moaning
Is the worst. So at the rose ceremony, Lace gives to Grant, Izzy gives to Vinny, Emily gives to Jared, Amanda gives to Josh, Sarah gives to Daniel, which we were super sad about.
Yeah, we wanted Christian to stay.
Christian,
Like, Daniel's fine, but Christian is a god.
which I want to talk more about the Sarah-Daniel relationship later. Carly picks Evan,
Which was weird.
which was weird. And then Haley picks Nick. And Haley picks Nick because she thinks that he deserves another shot at love. And apparently she just wasn't feeling it with Brandon. Which is so sad.
Kind of shot her and Emily in the foot when Kayla then shows up and Jared goes with Kayla and she doesn't have anyone who's going to give her a rose.
So neither
of them have anyone who's going to give them a rose.
So
she could have guaranteed another week if Brandon stayed. I don't think Brandon, I mean, maybe Brandon would have gone with, I think Kayla and Jared were basically gunning for each other, but I don't know about Jen. That could have been. But I don't think you would have.
No.
So she would have basically guaranteed her and her twin another week.
Yeah.
Even though she was planning on Jared guaranteeing them another week.
Yeah, which I think was the plan, but then they didn't count on Kayla. Yeah. So Kayla comes in. And things between Jared and Emily rapidly fall apart.
Yeah.
Rapidly. Because even just as soon as she walks in, Jared is like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really liked how Jared handled everything though. Because he spoke with Kayla and then he went back and he was talking with Emily. And then Kayla came and asked him out on the date and he was like, oh yeah, and went with her. And then he pulled her aside and he was like, hey, I don't want you to leave. Like, I'm going to come on this date with you. But I need to go back and just talk to Emily.
Yeah, it was super sweet of him.
And I don't think most of the guys on the show would do something like that. So I really appreciated it.
Daniel did.
Daniel did?
Daniel did. He, and I mean, this is jumping the gun a little bit, but when Ashley I comes in, he did. He was like, yeah, but he said yes first. I mean, I guess Jared did. He was like, yeah, I'm going to go on the date. But then he did go over to Sarah and he was like, hey, I'm just going to go on this date.
Well, I do feel like that is a little bit different, though, because, like, Jared was, like, real into Kayla, and I feel like Daniel was like, oh, you know, like, you're looking for someone to go on a date with. I'll definitely go with you, and we'll have fun.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, a lot of people vying for Jared's attention, and I love the twins.
I love them.
I love them. They're so great, but I just think, And, like, I totally understand because
Mhm.
Emily is heartbroken. She really likes Jared, and he was I mean, obviously, because he's a great guy. I love him.
Mhm.
But, she, you know, just starts to say all these, like, bitter things, and, like, I'm like, Emily, it doesn't look good on you,
Yeah.
honey. It doesn't look good on you.
Yeah.
You know, I always get ugly girls always get chosen before me, and, like,
Yeah.
don't say things like that.
I mean, I too, I saw a tweet saying basically what you're saying, and I tweeted at them, one of our friends actually, who
Mhm.
were like following, and they're following us, that like she is there just after she's basically been dumped, and they're prompting her to talk
Yeah.
about the person and how she feels about it. So I understand where some of that can come out, but it
Mhm.
was definitely like, Emily, we love you so much, like, don't
do that.
don't be like a jerk about it.
Yeah.
Because then we're gonna be like,
Yeah, we're gonna feel a little bit less bad.
yeah.
But no, I do. I totally understand him. And, like, we're friends. So Ashley I comes in.
Yeah.
Like an actual hurricane.
Like a hurricane actually came.
The very first thing she does walking in there is see Jared and Kayla and cries. Like, that's sequentially sees them, cries.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the show.
Yeah.
2 minutes passed on the show from the time she walked in to the first time she's sobbing. And I don't know what that was in real life, but I feel like it wasn't that much longer than 2 minutes.
That much. Like, she probably had to talk with Jared, had to talk
Yeah.
with some other people, and then she sits down with the twins and is overwhelmed. And we watched Ashley I on After Paradise, and she seems to be, like, in a better state of mind, a better place and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I can tell you, I would be the same.
yeah. No, absolutely.
Like, you may disagree with me on this and tell me if you do, but if the two of us were to go on this show, I feel like we would drown out Ashley I's tears in 0.5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. No.
Like, if I were emotionally invested in it, I would, she stops crying occasionally, I would be tears all the time.
Yeah. I can't not cry if Pam is crying. It would be bad. It would be Ashley I times 2 times 2. And, like, Jared, they were talking about how, like, he led her on a little bit, and I understand.
Jesus Christ.
He obviously, Jared is too sweet to have done that intentionally, I think.
Yeah.
I think he was totally just trying to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Be friendly with her, but.
I mean, I think a little bit of what Sean said was true, too, where he's like, he likes the attention.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna sit down and be like, this is never gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also not meaning to lead her on by doing the things that he's doing.
Right. And he really doesn't want Ashley to get in the way of his relationship with Kayla. My main worry, because I don't think Ashley could get in the way of their relationship, was the promos.
Yeah, I hated those promos.
Because
it made me really sad.
If Kayla leaves Jared, I just, like, won't have any hope left, I feel.
Yeah,
like,
a little
because Vinny and Izzy were crying, and Lace and Grant were crying, and Kayla and Jared were crying, and
before that promo, Steph said to me on multiple occasions, why don't they just send, like, Izzy and Vinny home, because they're a sure thing and no one's gonna break them up. And then all of a sudden, something's gonna break them up.
Tear fest.
I hope they make it through this.
I hope they make it. If a couple is boring to watch on TV, it's usually a good sign that they're a solid couple.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
A lot of crying. Evan goes to the hospital.
Okay, Evan and Carly, let's talk about them, because you had some interesting things to say.
Yeah, so I think that Carly really likes Evan, She really liked him before that kiss, and maybe it was a bad kiss, maybe that threw her off a little bit, but I think she still really liked him. She was saying super mean things about him, but I think she still really liked him. I'm sorry, I keep repeating that. And at some point, she realized that she shouldn't like him because he's weird. So she was like, ew, he's like totes gross, and like, I don't even know why I ever thought he was like cute or whatever. But she really does like him, so the more time he, takes something to make himself vomit or whatever and goes to the hospital and brings her along with him, she's like, I mean, like, he's sweet, so I guess. But, like, the whole time she was like, I am so into Evan. Behind the scenes.
And, like, okay, so if I think about it this way, the reason I feel like that's a totally viable option is that I feel like if a girl honestly thinks someone is really gross, nothing changes her mind about that.
Yeah.
You don't just, like, be like, ew, I hated kissing you, and then, like, kiss him and sleep in the same bed because he was, like, sick.
You, like, if you thought he was gross, you would go and find someone else and be like, hey, you need to go sit with Evan for the night because he wants me there, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to lead him on.
Yeah. And, like, I understand, and then, so half of my mind is like, yes, that's totally it. The other half is, Carly doesn't want to be alone in paradise. Everyone's a couple, and so Evan is her only option. And so, like, I'm kind of half and half. But the thing is, Nick was also alone. And so, like, she wasn't the only person who didn't really have an option at that point. So if she and Nick were hanging out, like, that was an option for her to be, like, friends with Nick during her alone time.
And she said they are friends.
Yeah.
So it's not like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So I totally think it's possible that she could have been totally vibing Evan and not wanted to admit it.
Yeah.
And now she's like, oh my gosh, I guess I'll give him
whatever.
a rose. Whatever. I'll just make out with him.
Although, it could also be they're getting closer and closer to the next rose ceremony. And it's not like Evan has anyone else to give the rose to, though. I mean, but still, she could just be, like, wanting to secure that for herself.
She could. I think it really depends, because my opinion on this will entirely depend on if someone that Carly's interested comes in and she's like, bye, Evan.
Yeah.
Bye. That'll kind of tip me one way or the other. I'm trying to think of, Evan was definitely giving his rose to Carly. Daniel's
up in the air now. Like, whatever happened with him and Sarah?
Yeah, we didn't know, because he did go up to Sarah and was like, hey, I'm going on this date with Ashley.
Yeah.
And Sarah said in her confessional, she was like, I'm worried about it. So then why aren't they in any of the couple talk?
Yeah, because Emily and Haley are sitting there telling Jen about who's available, and they're like, these two, like, Izzy and Vinny are together, and Grant and Lace are together. Daniel's free. Like, wait.
But
when?
What happened to him and Sarah? What happened? I don't understand.
And they didn't even talk about it on the after show. Like, he was like, yeah, Sarah's great. I love her.
Yeah, she's my friend.
But like, nothing like, oh, on the show, it wasn't even brought up that suddenly he was in the non-couples talk.
Yeah, so we don't know who Daniel's going to give a rose to, but I think that Sarah is going to be his only option if Nick goes first, because Nick is going to give it to Jen. Josh will give it to Amanda.
Do you think Nick would give it to Sarah if he gives it to Jen? If Daniel gives it to Jen?
Either that or one of the twins.
Yeah.
Because the twins gave it to him.
I hope the twins stay. If
Yeah.
the twins have to go home, I hope they just hire them as the bartender. Like, love you.
Yeah. Jorge's assistants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
Nick will give his rose to Jen, Grant to Lace, Vinny to Izzy,
Jared to Kayla.
So for right now, I feel like unless they put Daniel first and Daniel picks Jen, I think the couples are clearly gonna
Are gonna stay intact.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
and the twins will go home.
That sucks. But that's also kind of what's hinted at with the fact that the guys start coming in and all of the relationships then start getting broken up.
Yeah,
because that won't be until after this next rose ceremony.
Right. But I also thought they had one more girl coming out.
But that would mean 4 girls would go home if neither Emily or Haley get a rose.
That's true. I could have... The promos have lied before. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't see it, so I can't respond.
I could also just be going crazy. Maybe it was just like a feminine looking guy.
What? I wasn't.
Maybe it was a feminine looking guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all. I'm really excited for next week. I'm not excited that the couples might get broken up, but I'm excited for the drama. And we, like, even if Ashley I gets sent home this week, like, she's definitely gonna stick around for at least another, like, 15 minutes of the show to, like, cry and stuff.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's a chance Daniel will give his rose to Ashley I?
Maybe.
Wild card. I think that Jen being there ruined that possibility.
Yeah.
But, because I don't think he would give it to Ashley I over Sarah.
Yeah, he may give it to one of the twins over Sarah.
Maybe.
If he knows they're gonna go home. I don't know.
All next week on Bachelor in Paradise.
We'll be talking about it.
We're going to be talking about it. We're also trying real hard to get on After Paradise, but it hasn't worked out so far.
Not so far. We'll do it.
We're trying.
And you can follow us on Twitter at PS Such a Connection, where I live tweet. She doesn't care about it anymore.
I try my best. I'll bring my computer because I can't do it from my phone. It's too slow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.